This sign feels less like instruction and more like a confirmation for today's ride. Hey, welcome to Pedaling the Long Way. I'm out at sunrise, early in the morning, after a big snowfall overnight, heading out for a slow winter ride in fresh snow. At the start of this ride, I had a simple plan in mind. I was envisioning fat bike trails along the river, looking forward to a stop to make some coffee, and then a easy pedal home. The sky, it's still deciding what kind of day it wants to be. Heavy clouds from that storm overnight are giving way now to patches of blue. The sun, it's low enough to cast long shadows across the snow. Everything, it's washed in a real brief orange light that I find only exists when the day is just getting started and hasn't quite committed to which direction it's going to go yet. So, at this point, I do have a vision in mind, but nothing ambitious, nothing heroic. It'll be just enough is what I'm aiming for. Fresh snow, it always looks generous in the morning, and with the beautiful sunrise, casting that orange glow in long shadows, it's really quite picturesque. Smooth, forgiving, inviting. It rides differently, however. The progress, it's rather slow right off the bat. Not difficult, just deliberate, intentional. Each pedal stroke, negotiation with the surface beneath, because I'm never quite sure what's under there. Might be a root, bit of ice, perhaps a branch. The sunlight makes it all feel like the day is on my side, working in my favor. But the deep snow, it quietly disagrees with a bit of resistance. In these conditions, pedaling slowly, rather than a philosophy, it's really the practical or the only way forward. But I'm not complaining, because it grants me the opportunity to take in the scene, take some quick pics of the bike I'm riding for today. Most importantly, the bike that I'm riding is equipped with studded fat tires, really quite necessary in the mixed conditions of today's ride. The trails, for bikes at least, aren't ready yet. I can see a lot of footprints from early people out walking their dogs, but no grooming, no bike tracks, just deep, soft snow, holding its shape, sometimes dropping away into a footprint. And so it's at this point in the ride where my earlier plans and expectations run up against some friction. So I try anyways, because of course I do. It's an early morning ride. I've got a great opportunity. But within minutes, the ride begins to make decisions for me. I reroute onto roads out of the park and onto city bike paths. The sky changes too. The orange light has disappeared, replaced by heavy overcast. The temperature, it remains cold, and even less comfortable as my route takes me onto roadways with passing cars and all the noise, slush, and spray that entails. Toward the river, even as access points refuse to cooperate, it's looking less and less likely like I'm going to get that stop for the opportunity to make a cup of coffee by the river. Snow's piled high, paths really not formed at all, just a lot of deep snow. And so slush, rather than fresh snow, becomes the primary riding surface. Sometimes bare pavement, sometimes puddles, snowbanks and slush piles. They're heaped high all along the road edges, gray and a challenge unto themselves to try and pedal over, push through. The ride, it feels less cinematic now, that's for sure. It's messier, wetter, slower. This wasn't the ride I'd envisioned. Wasn't what I was imagining when I was plotting out my course and looking forward for a coffee break along the way. But hey, it's the one that's here and the one that I'm pedaling through. That's winter, really. Not one condition, but many, sometimes all in the same ride. Perfect snow gives way to heavy overcast skies and bare roads with slush and puddles. The bright light, it collapses into a flat gray with heavy dark clouds. Momentum becomes something you manage, not chase. Riding slow, in this instance, it isn't a philosophy, but it really is only the practical way forward. And so I think about the conversations that happen here as a result of your comments. I really do appreciate these comments because often they're questions about winter riding, whether the fat bike makes sense, whether studded tires are necessary. And as these questions come in and I try to be as helpful as I can with responses, I do need to mention I'm not an expert in this, but I really do love riding my bike, and everything I share, it comes from this experience, from showing up, adjusting, making mistakes, and learning as I go. And as well, there are the comments where people recall their own time outside, doing their favorite winter activity, or, in other instances, say this encourages them to explore closer to their home, get out in their bike, see what they can see. Those kinds of comments are incredibly meaningful. They're motivating in a way that numbers really never are. They remind me that this kind of riding, a little bit of slowness, can connect. So yeah, I encountered some detours, not all bad, as I happened upon some city bike routes that I really wasn't aware of and hadn't ridden before, and I'm now appreciating this kind of biking infrastructure, particularly as it gets me off the messy road. I continue looking for the perfect spot, or even if it's a spot. And I end up settling for one in a park near where I started my ride. The emerging blue sky makes it newly inviting, and in the end, rather perfect for making a cup of coffee. Different than what I planned, but hey, this is enough. So I take out the camp burner, hands moving slowly in the cold, and in fact, the burner works differently in the cold. I'll share more on that in a future video. There's a quiet focus at points like this to making coffee, each step intentional. The steam rises, the world narrows, and somewhere between waiting, warming my hands, the ride, it kind of settles in. And when I start riding again, the sky has changed, again. The clouds have lifted, blue sky stretches overhead, the sun is bright now, nearing noon. The slush, it's still there, but it's almost taking on a new quality as it reflects the sun, and the snowbanks look almost friendly. It's a different ride on the way home. Same rides, same bike, different light. So all things considered, it is one ride. Sunrise and long shadows, with some overcast skies and slushy roads. Blue sky and warmth, actually, returning on home. Winter, compressed into a few slow hours. So I didn't get the ride exactly that I planned, that I was envisioning as I set out. I got something else. And somewhere along the detours, that ride, it became enough. Thanks for riding along, and for the conversations that happen here. And if this kind of quiet winter riding resonates with you, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment. I read them all and they matter.